Hi, this is Joe Lawrence with the Cornell Pro Dairy Program. And today we just wanted to share some of the things that have been going on in the field. And since we've all been home, I have my kids, Ben, Colin, and Caroline, have been helping me out. And Ben's here today to help explain a few of the things we've been working on and what's going on in farmer fields this spring. So we'll start out with tracking heat and tracking how the crops are doing. Different plants respond to a combination of sunlight, heat units, and calendar days. And most commonly, we track heat units. And also, different plants respond to different base temperatures where they start growing. For grass, it's 32 degrees. For alfalfa, it's 41 degrees. And for corn, we use a base of 50 degrees, but we also use a maximum of 86 degrees because we know that corn does not grow very much above 86 degrees. So here's a sample calculation math lesson for you. We calculate growing degree days by finding the average daily temperature by adding the high and low temperature together and dividing by 2, and then subtracting off the base. So in this example for alfalfa with a base 41, we take the high and the low temperature to find the average, subtract off 41, and this shows us that we had 15 growing degree days for this particular day. When it comes to first cutting of hay crops, that's one of the big activities in the spring, and alfalfa and grass are our most dominant hay crops, and first cutting is really important because it represents a lot of the yield that a farmer will get for the growing season. We want this cutting of hay to not just be high in quantity, but also be high quality, nutritious feed for the animals. And it turns out that research has shown alfalfa height is a good predictor of the time to harvest the crop, both for grass and alfalfa. But grass matures faster than alfalfa, so we need to cut it when the alfalfa is at a shorter stage. What we have here is a chart that helps us know when to cut. For example, if we have a stand with 40% grass in it, we follow that up to the green line, and this tells us that we should cut that field when the alfalfa is approximately 25 inches tall. So we've been out in the field doing these measurements every week, and this has contributed to a report that Cooperative Extension puts out across the North Country, where fields are monitored for heights, and these reports are sent out to farmers to help us understand when we're getting ready. And by doing this once a week, it allows us to track the growth patterns and understand how fast it's growing this year compared to other years. So you can check out this report at the website listed each week to see how fast the crop is growing and when it's ready to cut fields, depending on if they're more grass or more alfalfa in the fields.
Alfalfa snout beetles are pests that damage alfalfa by chewing on the roots when they are larvae.
So this is an invasive species that's actually been in northern New York for over 100 years. And as Ben shared, the larval stage chew on alfalfa roots and kill the plant. And they have a 2-year life cycle where they spend 2 years in the soil feeding, and then they come out as an adult. And really the only purpose of the adult is to find a new alfalfa field to lay their eggs in. So we went out.
We collected beetles to send to Cornell for studies.
So entomologists, who are researchers, scientists who study insects, have been trying to understand for years the best way to control these. And part of that is to do research studies with them in the laboratory. So when a migration of the beetles came out this spring to, as the adults tried to find a new field to lay their eggs in, we went out and collected about 3,000 adult beetles to send down to Cornell for these studies. Corn planting is another big activity this time of year, And this was part of a research trial where um, we were planting different types of corn in the field. And corn planters are really interesting pieces of equipment that are asked to do a lot of things. They travel about 4 to 5 miles an hour and are trying to very accurately place seed in the ground. So each little seed needs to be placed at the proper spacing. So after planting, we can check for that spacing to make sure the corn planter is working the way it's supposed to.
We checked for corn seed placement. They should be about 2 inches in the soil.
Yeah, so we want them about 2 inches deep in the soil. And we also want them spaced out properly to get the proper population. We commonly try to plant corn at between 30,000 and 34,000 plants per acre. And so we can calculate how far apart the seed should be based on how many we want. This example here is on corn planted in rows that are 30 inches apart from each other. And based on that row spacing, we know that there should be a plant about every 6.5 inches in order to get approximately 32,000 seeds per acre. So we were able to go out and dig up the seed and find out if it was properly spaced and make sure it was about 2 inches deep where it needs to be to germinate properly and grow. So that's some of the activities we've been working on this spring. I hope you're enjoying the nice weather and getting outside and learning about nature yourself.